Welcome to Dance Studio Owner Life Coaching. I'm Ginger, a fellow studio owner and dual certified life and financial coach. I help studio owners and burnout master their money and overcome staffing challenges so they can run their studio with more confidence and less chaos. So today is the second in the series entitled Gifts. And today I'm going to be talking about the gift of resilience. If you want to take a deeper look at resilience itself, especially emotional resilience, check out episode 78, where I broke down what resilience looks like for studio owners and how to process things emotionally and the importance of emotional resilience. But today's episode offers a different angle, and we're grounded in the season and the year ahead. So, first, I want to talk about resilience as a gift because it enables us to experience life in a way where we take our power back and we are not victims to our circumstances. So, this is really important, right? When you are resilient, things are going to happen, right? It's just like regular life. Things happen good, bad, the ugly, all the things, right? And the key difference is when you are resilient, you are able to move on to the next step. And this is often a very, very difficult thing because what happens when we lack emotional resilience is we get stuck in patterns that sometimes we call laziness, sometimes we say it's procrastination, sometimes we get stuck in like a trauma response, and every time somebody says or does something, we react and we clam up and we don't know how to move forward, right? Whether it's a staff person, a student, one of their parents, things that happen in your personal life. There are times when the circumstances around us cause us to react in such a way that we stop moving forward in our trajectory of where we said we wanted to go and what it is we said we wanted to do with our own lives and how we manage our own businesses. Okay. But resilience, um, it's not about how long you can push through. It's how you come back. Resilience is a gift and not a burden. Okay? When I talk about resilience, it's where maybe we get some feedback that's negative and we don't want to hear it. Yet we keep revisiting it again and again. And we use that experience to hold us back from the next thing that we want. So I'm going to break it down and give you an example, okay? Let's say that you put together a performance opportunity for your dancers and you're trying your best to create something that's very special and meaningful, something that the kids and the audience will love, okay? You're putting this together and you also want to be mindful of cost. So maybe you choose a more simplified costume. Maybe it's typical dance wear versus costumes from the catalog kind of thing. You put together the performance. You also decide on music. You cut the music a little shorter. You don't want to make really long pieces. You want it quick and easy for the kids to remember. And you then have the performance, and people complain about the costumes. They complain about the cost of having to pay for the particular opportunity. They complain about the dances. They complain about different things. And your staff hears about it, you hear about it, you get an email, people say a little snide remark. And then what happens is the next time around you get an opportunity like this, you say, well, I'm not going to do that because this is what happened last time. Or I'm not going to get nicer costumes for them because they don't appreciate it anyway, or they just complain about the price. They don't care about these things. Maybe instead of doing these, you just get rid of them altogether. But if you were to dial back those emotions at the core of it, it was really important to you to offer the students a performance opportunity that's outside of the norm. Something maybe that they're giving back to the community or performing in a venue they never would have had the opportunity to do before. Something that you believe is the right fit for your business, but because of what has happened, those circumstances, you believe that their response to the experience you created means that it's done. You're not going to put yourself out there to be criticized again. And so, what happens here is we end up in a loop. We feel miserable about how the experience was. We feel that people are criticizing us. We feel nervous to try new things. We put our goals on the back burner because we believe that when we try to do things, we're just going to get punished for them. And what happens is you're not making the progress that you want, and you start to feel really bad about it. You question your decision making. You don't trust yourself, and so on and so on. So now, if we look at that same circumstance and we alter the mindset, now there's the negative feedback that you've gotten. If you offer a different perspective to yourself, you might say, well, there was people who provided feedback to this performance. Let me look at how many people had said something that was negative out of the entire student body. Maybe it was 3 loudmouths or 4 people who are keyboard warriors who would never say something to your face. Maybe this small group of people is not representative of the other 130. Maybe the other 400, whatever your student body is, right? Maybe there's 75 people who loved it and they want to tell more people about this opportunity. So your mind opens up the possibility that their feedback isn't the only feedback. Your mind might also open up the possibility that their feedback is just that. It's feedback. It's not a prescription for what you are to do and how you run your business. It is simply feedback. And when your mind can offer you this different perspective, you're able to do something different. You take your power back. You might say, is there any truth to what they're saying? You can examine it and decide. You might say, well, these people didn't like it. Maybe it wasn't a good fit for them. How do I frame this in a way so people clearly understand what this is about? Manage expectations. What if you say, well, gosh, this is great. Out of 120 students who loved it, we had 3 who complained. That's darn great. We're going to keep going forward with my plan. You see, my friends, when we have that resilience, we recover differently. And when we recover differently and we put ourselves in charge of our emotions and our reactions, then we are better equipped to move forward, to do the things that we believe are the best next step for ourselves and our business. So, I want to give another example. This is a common one, okay? Your spouse asks you questions about your studio finances. I know this is a hot button for a lot of people. Your husband or your wife says, how much money are you making from this? Do we have enough money in savings? Or how many students do you have? And the immediate trauma response is to get angry, fearful, nervous, annoyed. when they ask this question, it comes across as criticism, judgment, and makes us feel little, backed into a corner, ready to fight. Why are you asking me these things? You don't even own a business. Why are you asking me these things? Do you think I'm not good enough? Why are you asking me these questions? Is it because you think that I'm not capable? You see, in this situation, so often we put meaning onto things. And it could be that this person is just asking for information. It could be that this person is criticizing you. It could be that they are questioning because they want to be able to brag about you. There's any number of things. But what tends to happen is our minds go to the worst possible scenario. And what usually follows next is an argument, a shouting match, anger and resentment, the cold shoulder, and the silent treatment with the one that we are doing life with. But now let's reframe that again with some resilience. What if they asked the question and we just answered? What if they ask the question and you say, "Oh, I can go run a report for that"? What if they ask the question and you say, "Wow, that was a great question. I'm going to go look it up. I haven't looked in a while"? You see, there's other options than to think that we're the problem, we're the worst, we're unprepared and not capable. The resilience that comes from realizing that your circumstances do not dictate how you feel is a game changer. For me, when I learned this through cognitive behavioral therapy, when I learned about this, I was working on learning more about how this works because when I heard someone say that your thoughts create your feelings, I was like, what are you talking about? But as I learned more, I found that, yeah, if we are in the mindset that this person is coming at us and attacking us, then naturally the response and the emotions we feel are that of someone who's being attacked. But when we think about it and step back and don't allow our brain to go down this road of negativity, if we allow our brain to think of other possibilities, we can see that we might just be curious. We can see that we might just be indifferent. It could be any number of things. We have the ability to change how we feel and how we interact with other people in our lives. Now, I do want to say this. It's very important to note this. Your circumstances are going to happen no matter what. There's nothing about this whole resilience bit that's going to magically change everything. Life is going to be lifing, okay? There's going to be emergency situations that happen. There's going to be traumatic situations that happen. If there are things that are major life events that are happening, of course, you're going to draw on your experiences from the past, the things that you've seen and experienced, the things that you've learned from your family of origin that inform how you act and react or don't act in various situations. And my friends, I got to tell you, the biggest one I see consistently amongst women, it's financial trauma. It's the stories we tell ourselves from this place of things that we've heard where we hear in our head, we're not good enough, we're going to fail, we don't have enough money. Whether it's that scarcity thought, whether it's the not good enough thought, whatever it is, those are just thoughts, ladies. It's just thoughts. Those are thoughts. I didn't say that those are the truth. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're perfectly capable. You're human. And that is enough. You don't need some magical thing. If you're the studio owner that beats yourself up for not going to college, that is not the way that you have to think about it. If you're the studio owner that feels like, hey, I never got my MBA, I can't do these things because I didn't study business. That's not the end of the story. That is not the end of the story. I know people who have gotten so many degrees and certifications and still feel like crap about themselves. And the thing is, we are looking for things external to ourselves to prove to other people that we're good enough. You are good enough. You have everything inside of you to be enough, to be more than enough, to be successful in business. If there's something you don't know, you're capable of learning it. If there's something that you're scared of, you're capable of doing it while you're scared. This resilience is truly a gift. So, I have a few questions for you. What standard are you holding that doesn't actually serve you? What are you doing to step back and think about how you're reacting to your circumstances? Is there something you can do where you grab 15 minutes between classes or before bedtime and reflect, jot down your thoughts, process all of that, right? Could you go on a walk or get some water, journal in that quiet moment? Turn down the radio in the podcast in the car for a moment and really think about things. Give yourself the time and space to process your circumstance and look at your options for how you can create thoughts in your mind and react. Maybe it's that you want to act on something. Maybe it's that you don't want to do anything about it. You don't want to react every time this thing happens. Maybe you want to act, but differently. Wherever you are, it is important to remember that resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being able to return to your values, your vision, and yourself. Every time you return, you get stronger. If building greater resilience is part of your vision for 2026, that's exactly what we'll work on inside of the Life Coach Live Week, especially when it comes to staffing, money, summer planning, and how to lead without always being the one to absorb every difficulty. Visit thestudioownerlifecoach.com/live and you can find out how to join us in January. Friends, before I let you go, I want to remind you that you have far more power than you believe you do, that you are far more capable than you think you are, and that you are a wonderful, beautiful human who is more than enough. Until next time, I wish you the best.